This message is brought to you by the CDC.
Do you hate masks? Are they infringing upon your rights? Well, fear not. The CDC has a solution.
Hi, my name is Donald Hump, and I'm here to propose Bill 44, Operation nicknamed Free COVID. It saddens me to see so many colleagues unable to spit in each other's faces and do whatever we desire with our mouths. Over the past year, despite all of these mask regulations, we have recently seen our highest spike in COVID in a single day. So why should we wear a mask at, at all? With all of these facts considered, the CDC has decided to take radical steps to take control of this issue, namely by eradicating all COVID patients. The COVID patients are sucking up all of our resources, and we are spending meaningless time taking care of them. Not only that, they're also suffering. So why don't we just end their suffering and allow natural selection to do its work? There are also multiple other benefits. Excuse me. And my colleague will explain the rest.
Thank you, Mr. Hump, for that kind introduction. My name is Bo Jiden, and I'm going to give some more technical details on our plan. As you see here, this graph gives the global plastic production for the past 60 years. We can see that the line almost grows exponentially. And this is a really big problem because plastic is bad. With the arrival of the pandemic, this plastic production will only skyrocket due to the massive increase in the need for masks. Our plan, by eliminating anybody who has COVID, greatly reduces the need for masks. Therefore, the plastic production in the world would drop. In the next slide, we see the change in average IQ of the United States from 1909 to 2006. As we see on the line, it has a linear growth for the past century. But unfortunately, due to new findings and that the Earth is flat, we expect this change in average IQ to fall back down to 0. But fortunately, with the implementation of our plan, we can expect the change in average IQ to go to the moon. This is because by eliminating all of those with COVID-19, we increase everybody's IQ by 1 billion %.
Can you cite your sources?
Can we cut? For the last graph, we would like to present to you the global carbon emission rate. From 1900s to 2010, we almost see a tenfold increase in carbon emissions from around the world. We know that carbon emissions is really bad as it damages the ozone layer. So by introducing our plan, we're able to reduce carbon dioxide production by almost 15%. With this, we're able to take the derivative of the tangential line of the global carbon emissions rate so that we are able to break the time-space continuum and create a future prediction which breaks the graph and makes sure that the global carbon emission rate for future decades will be negative. That is the end of our technical analysis for today. And now, back to Mr. Hump.
Thank you, Bo Jiden, for that wonderful technical analysis. That should clear up most of the questions that you have. I will now be handing it over to my colleague Dragon for him to compare our plan with others. Dragon, take it. Director.
Sir, it's been an honor, Mr. Hump. Unfortunately, we're suffering some technical issues, but I assure you it's being taken care of. I'm Dr. Gregan, and today I'll be providing a thorough comparison between our proposed plan, Bill number 44, and others towards the prevention of COVID. So as you can see here, these are some of the plans that are currently being implemented towards stopping COVID-19. Okay, now let's look at the pros of both of these plans implemented by the government. First of all, masking. Well, we don't really see that there's any pros at all to masking. And similarly with social distancing, we don't see any clear pros either. So we're really confused as to why the government is so intrigued on getting us to follow these plans. But now let's take a look at the cons, and let me tell you, there are a lot of them. First of all, for masking, we see that there's increased plastic production, as Bo Jiden said in his speech. But second of all, we think that wearing a mask all day has a lot of fatigue and ultimately makes you suffocate in your own mask. Thirdly, we think it inhibits interactions because as you speak with one another, you try to look at their facial expressions to understand their general emotions. However, here, you can't really see because their face is covered by a mask. And lastly, we just think that masks don't work at all because COVID particles are small enough to travel through the mask.
Yo, Dr. Dragon, do you have any evidence to support your claims?
Okay, who are you to talk? I'm gonna let you know that I have a PhD in zoology focused on ape behavior. So if you would try and be quiet and shut up and let me do my job, it would be very much appreciated. So back to the cons of social distancing as well. Well, we think that for social distancing, it brings a lot of depression to individuals because they have to lock themselves at home, and most of the times they're usually isolated. But second of all, I think this isolation leads to a lot of lost connections because they can no longer gather in a pub or a cafe with their best friends. Thirdly, we think this harms small businesses as they cannot operate because they have to be closed down and ultimately they go into bankrupt. And lastly, we think it's just false advertisement because really, COVID doesn't spread between people. So now let's see why our plan, Bill 44, is clearly the best and the most impeccable. Well, let's talk about the pros. Well, first of all, ultimately, our plan eliminates COVID. Because if you eliminate all the patients who have contracted COVID, then obviously it can't spread anymore. Secondly, it increases the IQ, as Bo Jaden already explained, and it also decreases carbon emissions. But most importantly, we think it's effective. Now, why is this so? Because all the other plans have taken a whole year, and in fact, the only outcome is that COVID cases have continued to rise. With only the cost of a single bullet, we can eradicate a threat of COVID from a whole neighborhood. Now let's talk about the cons, and to be honest, there are no cons. This is our plan, and this concludes the second annual CDC conference. Now everyone, stay safe or get neutralized. Cut. Oh my god, it's the man himself!
Sir, it's gonna be okay. Doctor! Wait.
Sir?
Execute Order 44.
Honorary members of the immune system. Our cells have identified a COVID virus. However, this virus infects the cell, but the cell does not change its appearance. In other words, there's an imposter among us.
So how do we identify this imposter?
The imposter is trying to find our top secret files about our antibodies, and they are also identified by a red outline, red t-shirt, as some would call it, within their cell wall.
Everyone, cell walls off.
What are the casualties?
Come with me.
Take a look. Our fallen comrades. I'll be going over some of our greatest losses. First off, Vice Secretary General German Affer. Chief of Cellular Logistics Lyric E. Minesweeper Yike Mager. XX chromosome magnet Gavin Quo. Weather forecaster Jevin Kang. And finally, we also have our Chief of Cells, Landrew Ayu. You can see his final moments in the picture right here. There's also one more duo who I'm unable to mention. These individuals are Deadward Ing and Lendon Bin. Observe.
You know what I mean? You mean stained glass?
Aye, that.
Like your watch? It looks
Look like with your little ball on your head, you wee
ball
little.
on my head,
You
man.
little
I don't have
Weinstein.
you
You
got
got
a
a right.
You
Go
got
right.
a brain, bitch.
Right, no, you go right. You're
look
go
like
right. You're
you look
essay.
like a donkey's
You. It says you.
I gotta
Right.
kick the get crumbs out of his I was like, shit,
Right, that's nice. Go finish your homework.
bit. I just gotta scratch the donkey's and get the crumbs out. I take a look and do what? Oh, it tastes.
Oh, and I almost forgot to mention our Supreme Commander, Ereg Gelliot. And here we also have Ken Bang, Daniel Diamondback, Ames Joe, Lim. We trying to do J Cell Jasper.
So Nutrifu, what is this?
This is highly classified information about how to beat back the COVID viruses using antibodies.
Know your place, J-Cell Jasper. You're the most sus among us.
Me? It's you, Mycophage. You louse around all day. You're the imposter.
That's it, J Cell Jasper. Back to your division right now.
Whatever.
I think it's about time we activate a cytokine storm.
But doesn't that damage the
Yeah, I know. But it's a necessary risk with the situation that we're in right now. Come on, let's grab our oxygen supplements from the red blood cells. Yeah, so that J cell was acting a bit strange, don't you think?
Yeah, he seems pretty sus.
Do you recall seeing any traces of red shirt on him?
Not since we last checked him. No signs.
I see. Refill, please, red blood cell. Thank you. Yeah, so
You seem to drink a lot of O2 these days.
yeah, you know, work takes a toll on the cytoplasm. Anyways, so there's only one way to find out if he's the imposter, right?
Yeah, but is it worth?
We do what we must.
From my side, J-Cell.
Oh, how entertaining. How entertaining. That's right. I was the infected neutrophil all along. I may have revealed my identity accidentally, but now that the J cell is gone, I'm free to take over this body.
私は自由に使える多くの加速時計と思っています。そのうちいつだか打つことができれば。
それらの議事報道に身にはれた場合、私は負けますが、私は自分の武器を持っています。優れた機動性で記念する戦闘に参加できれば勝ちです。
彼を完全に残滅させることができるはずです。
彼を知っている。彼はおそらくできるという多くの数で攻撃するし、ただし、これはヨーロッパの指示が日です。マイクロメートルの速度で出てくるので、反発角を抜くでかい警備。なに？さて、私の必殺技、COVIDスプレッド。The Cure.
Watashi wa kono atarashii tiraほど神の尊に登るのです。彼は自分が優位に立っていると思っています。観察する。クワの目のブザザズ。感染の目のボキビオクの目。
別の挑戦者。かわいい。神聖な寄り添ってほしい。エンシャントされたロカのエンパワーメント。
の大きさ。
COVIDスプレッド。
エグニエグ。何？お前はもう死んでいる。
なるほど。だからこれは死です。私はそれを受け入れます。待て。やめろ。やめろ。
How are you feeling, Mr. Hunt?